of course it tells us that this is a circle, but it's called a circumference. And in the center of the circle, we have this green line, this green dot, sorry. Okay, this is the center of the circle. Now, what's the first line we want to learn about in the circle? Well, a line that passes through the center of the circle, whose ends touch the circumference, is referred to as a diameter. Now, any line whose ends touch the circumference is referred to as a chord. So the diameter is a special chord. Now, what about if we want to half the diameter? In other words, we want to start from the circumference, go towards the center of the circle. Then we will have what is known as a radius. It's a half of the diameter. So we have two radii that make up a diameter. A diameter consists of two radii. And so here we have it again. What line is this? Well, since it starts from the center towards the circumference, we call it a radius. And it's this length that you use to construct a circle, the radius length. Do you have another line? Well, so far we're doing a straight line, and it's the end points of this line touch the circumference here and here, and so refer to that as a chord. This is also a chord, again repeating, passing through the center, so it has a special name, the diameter. Now we have a straight line, and this straight line does not pass through the circle, just basically touch it at a point on the circle. We call that point of contact the point of tangency between a straight line that doesn't pass through the circle but just touch it at a point of contact, called a point of tangency. And hence this straight line is referred to as a tangent. Okay, now just want to mention something, so let me just go back a little to a chord. Now this chord, a chord basically, think of this as a pizza or pie. Now if you should use a knife and cut it along this line, this chord, along this chord, this piece, smaller piece here, so just think of it again. I cut this pie, this big pie or pizza, along this line. Then this region here is referred to as a segment. And this big piece is also a segment, but it is a big segment. We call that the major segment. And we call this piece the minor segment. Now this is also a chord. The diameter chord. So the diameter cuts the circle into two equal segments, basically. This segment equal this segment. Okay, just want to mention that. Now, this region here between this radius and this radius, okay, from the center to the circumference. So we have this region in between the two radii is called a sector. And usually when you want to cut a pizza, you cut from the center, and you cut from the center again along another line, and you pull out this piece here. This piece is referred to as a sector. And usually when governments creating their budget, they talk about the tourism sector, the financial sector, the health sector, education sector, etc. Okay, so that's what they usually use. So let's get a little idea there. Okay, so let's look into the theorems now. There are three things you should learn about circle theorems, and we touch on it in the objectives really. What each circle, we need to know what each theorem states, and how to identify these theorems when we see them in problems. And third, we should know how to show knowledge of circle theorems in how we answer